You know how sometimes you get an itch and you just have to scratch it? Well, I'm a fixin' to scratch my itch. Ah, the smell of exhaust fumes in the morning. Well, despair and agony on whoa, deep dark depression, excessive misery. Whoa, if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Whoa, despair and agony on me. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to Whale and Wire's Old Iron. Well, I tell you what, I just had to move on to another project, you know, and one that you haven't had a look at in a long time. You newcomers haven't seen it all. Let's see if we can get an old rig to fire up. Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Whale and Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. In a previous episode, we heard old Whalen say, "This old boy's been sitting out here, I don't know, a couple years. Wonder if he'll start." Working on these pins a little bit. I talked about these gears. They're boogered up a little bit, but if it's a bad gear, there's about four on each side, 4 teeth on each side of that bad one that catches. So it locks into position everywhere we go with it. But the issue is, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe you can see it. The real issue is these pins are bent. And this one's bowed out like that, so they won't drop up and down. This one does okay, but this one's stiff. It's because it's bent, and I found a place where I can order them, so I'm going to replace those. But the teeth are not that bad. It's just they're not that good, but they're not that bad. I'm not concerned about that. I've been able to find the pins, but I haven't been able to find the gears. I would replace them if I could get them, but I may just flip them over. But I think they'll be okay once these pins are dropping in like they're supposed to. For those of you who might be new to the channel, I would like to introduce you to my old friend Jimmy Hoffa. This is a 1963 GMC 3/4 ton, and yeah, I named him Jimmy Hoffa. I don't know why, but he's a pretty good old boy, and let's see if we can get him fired up and back on the road. He's been sitting out here a couple of years, so we'll just we'll let him tell his own story. Boy, it's been a while since this old bugger we started up. .305 V6. Any of you newcomers that are not familiar with these old GMC engines, what they are is essentially a diesel engine running on gas. You can see down here there's no spark plugs. No. They're all up in here where the injectors would be on a diesel. And this is this is not half of my Dirty Dozen project. I've got one down there that's a 702, and the engine in that cab over up there is a 351, which is half of my rat rod engine, so the Dirty Dozen. But this engine, this is the little one, 305, and it weighs 795 pounds without fluids. Yeah, I'm gonna throw a battery in it and dump some gas down its throat and try not to set anything on fire. Yeah. I've got some starter fluid here. Maybe I'll just try it with a little bit of ether. See if it wants to grunt or groan or anything. I got a little mustard bottle with some mustard gas in it. I'm gonna go get that instead of using that ether. Not sure what's going on with all this linkage business here. Way too much. Not picking up any fuel yet. Come on, Jimmy. Let's go get a couple more gallons of gas to get it started, I guess. Well, it'll only run if I bottle feed it. I'm not getting any fuel, so that fuel pump's not picking up fuel. I think the fuel pump's okay on this thing. Yeah, anyway. Well, let's see if we can get some fuel in it. Tank may be dry. I don't know. I'm gonna investigate. I'll show you guys something. If any of you guys are younger guys, maybe don't remember these old trucks or know about them, they put the fuel tank right behind the seat. That was a wonderful design, wasn't it? And this thing sounds like it's just bone dry. So before I go blaming the fuel pump on everything, I'm gonna go put some gas in it and go from there. Come on, Jimmy. Let's do this thing. Well, still not picking up fuel. Not yet, anyway. The old diaphragm may be all dried out in that fuel pump. Anyway, you heard the old girl run. It sounds good. It's a good running motor. I got a story about this truck, how I come to own it and so forth, but I'm not going to get into it right now. I got to get it figured out first. Okay, let's do something. Well, I grunted the old boy off from the shed back there, and then it coasted down to the corner of the shop over here, and then I just grunted it on in on the starter to get it in here under the AC, because it's pretty hot out there today, and I'm sure that was real good for that starter, you know, but it's here. So I'm going to start tracing out fuel lines and take it loose at the pump, I guess, and maybe blow back through it and see if I got it plugged line or maybe plugged at the tank. Anyway, I'm gonna get it up in the air and take a look at it. And yeah, I'm gonna set the pins on these to lock these arms. And this little notice here, you know, it's not likely that I'm gonna forget, but this is just for somebody else, anybody else that might be using the lift. Yeah, and yeah, I think I might have mentioned it earlier, but I found a place. These pins are bent. That's why they're binding up and not dropping down. So I'm more concerned about that than I am a tooth here and there that's kind of boogered up. But yeah, I think I found where I can get them. So I gotta call the outfit up and replace those pins. And yeah, what I'm dealing with right now is it's got a little tiny set screw in that gear that drops down, meshes with the other gear, and it's not metric and it's not standard. It's Allen wrench, but I don't know what size it is. It's in between something. It's in between everything I've got. So yeah, anyway, gonna investigate here a little bit, and I'll get back with you. Well, I found the plugged fuel line going out the tank. Well, actually it's in the tank. It's probably that old sock. So I blew it back and I got it flowing for now, but I expect it's going to plug up again. Anyway, see if that fuel pump wants to pick up fuel now. Maybe plug somewhere else too, I don't know. Oh, I can't get in. I gotta roll this thing back a little bit. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, okay, it's going. I need to get my remote starter on this thing. What in the world is it? Huh. I got some fuel dumping out underneath this thing. I better pick it back up and take a look, see what's going on here. Yeah, we got a line going to the fuel pump that's leaking. I'll have to replace that with some fuel injection hose, because I'm sure that old ethanol is just eat up all the rubber on this thing. I think I'll already switch this one out, but I'll check them all. I'll check them all because I know what happens. Well, I got this old hose up there. You can tell that old ethanol just ate it completely up, you know. That's what it does. And I'm sure this did not help the situation any. This was one going into the fuel pump. Yeah, I'm going to replace these little pieces of hose with some fuel injection hose. It seems to hold up better to the ethanol gas. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'll get this straightened out and then I'll get back with you. Well, I can tell just by the weight of this thing that it was, it's pretty packed up. It's full of crud. We got that taken care of. Well, shall we see if it's going to pick up fuel or not? Oh shucks, I can't get in it. I gotta pull it forward or push it back. Let me get the arms off guard this thing. I'll be right back. Well, are we still not getting fuel? So far, that would be a negatory. Okay, we still got a plugged up fuel line somewhere. I'll get to the bottom of it sooner or later, probably later. Well, I finally got it picking up fuel, but we got another issue. That fuel pump is leaking out the bottom. Alright, shut her down, shut her down. check it out. Plenty of fuel. Fuel pump is not leaking. I'm not sure what was going on there. I'll have to keep an eye on it, but I like it when things fix themselves. Hey, check out the tires on this old boy. These tires, there's a half inch of tread depth on these things. These are 8 lug 16.5. Yeah, these are 950R 16.5 LT Transforce HT. That sounds pretty fancy, don't it? Firestone. I spent stupid money on these tires. If I could get out of this truck what I paid for the tires, I'd probably be doing good. Oh, stupid money. Yeah, but they're nice. All right, let's get this thing down and maybe hose it off, and I want to tell you a little bit about this old truck, and then we'll get on to something else. Hey, before we kick it out, let's check out this service bed. This thing's actually in pretty good shape. It's really cool too. It's got these little latches on here that you can rope stuff down on top if you want. You push that in. It's got a little tiny lever there that kicks over and holds it in. That's pretty fancy, ain't it? Let's see what's in here. Whoa! Oh, nice. Nice. We got a couple of condominiums here. And look at that. An Oklahoma credit card. Go figure. That's what my dad always called a siphon hose. Is Oklahoma credit card. I don't know what he knew about Oklahoma that I don't, but it's probably not politically correct nowadays. Oh, we got us a jack. Pair of loppers. I better get them out of there. Victor might need them. Another Oklahoma credit card. Yeah, that's not PC. And this is, I guess that's to hold your fishing rod. I don't know. I don't know. But I should have made a service rig out of it. Well, it is a service rig, but I should have used it years ago. And I did. I drove this thing all over the country. Oh, we got us. What do we got? We got us a brand new carrier bearing. You know, I looked at that one when I was underneath it, and it didn't look like it needed a carrier bearing, but there it is. There's a spare if we need it. And we got us a vise, man. We can work right off the tailgate, right off the bumper on this thing. This is a, what is that? Jit. I can't. I don't know. I can't read it. I don't know what it is. Some kind of body. Oh, and it was set up one time. I came with, there was an old electric motor in one of these side pockets on this thing. I think it ran a hoist, a winch. He had some kind of a winch set up on this thing, the old boy, so you could pick things up and then swing it around into the bed. Like, oh, you could tell he hauled old motors and stuff in here. It was all oily and the bed's all beat down. We'll look at that a little bit later. I'm gonna clean this stuff out of there now. I'll tell you what all this is back here. But let's see what we got on this side. This thing is just like how I got it. There's a spare distributor. There's some motorcycle handlebars. You never know when you're going to need one of them. And a water inlet, a strap, a tie-down strap, heavy duty. Oh, and this is, I remember this. This is a brand new in-the-box fireplace screen. Go figure. Who knew? Let's see what we got down here. I used to carry a spare can of gas in here. Yeah, it's just a little more inhabitants here. This is habitat for for humanity here. Well, for mice and wasps anyway. Maybe not humanity. Okay, and this one up here. Oh, we had tire chains in here. A little piece of conduit. You never know when you need one of them. And a piece of rubber hose and a wooden block. All good stuff. Yeah, quite the old service rig. All right, well, I'm gonna, oh, there's a, what do you call them? A hydro boost. There's a hydro boost set up. Anybody need a hydro boost set up? These are some rat rod pedals here. Corey, that might be something you're interested in. If you see this, you'll probably see this video because I'm gonna talk about you a little bit later. It's all good, little brother. It's all good. I ain't gonna badmouth you or anything like that. All right, I'm gonna set this thing down and I think back it out of here. Crazy weather we're having. It was 95 yesterday and it's gonna be 75 today and 68 by Thursday. This is Tuesday, by the way. Oh, such a deal. Very rare that we get rain in August. There's a misconception about Washington State. As I travel around the country and mention that I'm from Washington State, the response is, oh yeah, it rains all the time up there. Well, yeah, it rains a lot in Seattle, but we're on the east side of the Cascade Range and we get less rain than Los Angeles. So there's that. All right, I'm gonna get this thing down. I'll show y'all something here on this old truck. At first glance, you might say to yourself, old GMC was way ahead of its time back in '63 and had a dual pot reservoir. Oh, but nay, that would not be the case. It has a hydraulic clutch. It uses the same reservoir for the clutch and the brakes, but it's still a single pot brake system. Not good. If you lose one brake, you lose them all. That's how they did it back in the day, though, you know. You know, I made that video about swapping out the steering column in this old 73 square body, and I was talking about how it wouldn't go into the lock position, and I couldn't get the key out and whatnot, and there was some people suggested that I put it in park. Well, yeah, I had done that, and it still that didn't help. But I'm thinking about this. The more I think about it, the more I think that I might need to put that lever in there and then pull up on it and pull up on that lever, and then I think it might go into the lock position, you know. But right now that ignition switch is not a real high priority. Yeah, I had some comments about this rig. A couple guys were saying, yeah, it's done, you know, sell it for parts, get rid of it. It's jinxed and it's cursed. Shove it over the bank, it's done. And the universe is telling you don't mess with this truck anymore. And my response to that is, have you met Waylon Wire? Yeah. All right, let's see if this thing will start. Pretty tough, ain't it? That's how it's always been. Once you get, you know, things the way they're supposed to be, you just can't even get off the key before it starts. Reverse is over and down. It's got air conditioning right here. I just turned it on. You feel it yet? Cooling off already, ain't it? There's compound low. There we're creeping. We're still here on my driveway and it's creeping along like this. You can put it up in third gear and it'll still just pull right out of it because This old motor's all about torque, not so much horsepower. It's just got a lot of torque. That's high gear. Up to 10 miles an hour in high gear, and I think it's going to pull out of it. It's a torque monster. Okay, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, it's all pretty ugly. The bad is the fenders are rotten, or the wings, as you Brits might call them. And this one's pretty bad. It's all crumpled up. Let me see. No, I don't think that's going to buff out. All the hood's all beat up, scratched up, and pretty beat up right through here. Could be fixed, I suppose, if you knew what you're doing, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and this fender's rotten. And the bumper is shot. But the good news is, I have all these parts. I have parts, and parts. I start with the fenders, Got two really good fenders. This one's got cancer in the bottom of it down there. You can buy those little patch panels for that corner, so that wouldn't be too hard to fix up. But the main thing is they're not beat up right in here. And well, you know how that goes. you've seen the corner on Jimmy Hoffa over there. Yeah. So anyway, two good fenders. This hood is in excellent condition. There's not a dent anywhere in this hood. It's not rusted out anywhere. There's a good straight bumper. Got all these little pieces. These are all straight, nice straight pieces. Cowl vents, good shape. And this, I don't know what these little pieces are, but I don't know what they are, but they're good. And this grill, well, this grill is beautiful. It is in pristine condition. There is not a dent anywhere in this grill, and it's good on the other end too, just the same all the way through. I don't know how it managed. It was an old horse hauler, had no horse rack on the back of an old 1-ton. I used the front clip out of that truck for the Dirty Dozen build down there with the V12 in it, but I saved all this stuff. It's good, really good parts. Now I could put this all together as a package deal to go with Jimmy Hoffa, but I can't imagine anybody would want to restore this old truck. I just can't imagine it. The cab is full of holes. It's rotted out. There's rust down there. One time me and Kurt would go into a car show, just kind of as a joke. We put this thing in the car show at Wilson Creek. That's a 160-mile round trip, I guess. And we're going along over there, and there was a circle irrigation set up, and out on the end of those big circles, they got a big old sprinkler about 2 feet long. Boy, it throws water 50 feet, and it throws it out on the highway. You're not supposed to get water on the highway, but nobody cares, you know. I mean, don't grab about the farmer with your mouth full. It's that kind of thing, you know. So we hit that water, and Kerwood said, "There's water coming up in the floor here." And I said, "Well, put your foot over the hole." He did. But anyway, yeah, it's got and a big hole on the other side too in the floor. Rockers all rotted out here. And you can get these pieces, but man, who'd want to? I don't know. I'm not a body man, so somebody else might see it differently with all these parts on here. It's just not something I'm interested in doing, but I could do that. If somebody wanted, just really had their heart set on a 63, well, I could sell this all as a package deal with all these parts. My preference would be to find somebody who really needs a good hood, who's restoring an old truck and really needs this hood and needs the fenders or whatever, and that would really be where this is supposed to go. I have a friend who's expressed an interest in this, and he's building a rat rod. Corey's building a rat rod, and he's got a, what is it, 24 Dodge, I think. Well, he's got, no, let me rephrase that. He's got parts of a 24 Dodge. He's got the firewall and the windshield frame, I think, and maybe a door. I don't know what all he's got, but you know, that's all you need is a radiator cap. You got to start somewhere. So he's gathering up parts, you know, and he was up here the other day, and I gave him some headlight buckets, but yeah, he was talking about cutting this down and making the top for his rat rod, and using those fenders over there to make a box, a bed, you know. And boy, don't you know, somebody just scream if they saw him cutting this up, you know, and using it on a rat rod. And that is just exactly something that Wayland Wire would do. But my preference would be to get this in the right hands, somebody who really needs it. All these pieces, you know, I saved them, but you know, if somebody doesn't reach out to me here on YouTube concerning this stuff, or if I don't sell it on eBay or Craigslist or whatever, well, Corey, I'll make you a deal, and they'll be rat rod parts, I guess. You may have, by the time this is done, you may have found something. But anyway, those are the options. We could do this all together. I'd rather sell these parts separately to somebody who needs them. But yeah, okay. That's here's what I was talking about. that's usually what happens to the fenders. This one over here is not quite as bad, but of course it's rotten down there. Yeah. So this, I'd like to sell this as is, just for the engine. I mean, that's a really good rat rod motor. But the thing runs. I mean, you know, it runs great. It's a good motor. So there you have it. There's the good news. We have parts. Okay, guys, that'll do it for this one. I know this video probably ran a little bit long. I apologize for that. I just had quite a bit of stuff I had to try and cram in there. I could have cut out some of that scenery going down the road, but I know some of y'all like that, so I threw that in just for you. I got a channel for you, a new channel, and this guy, you're really going to enjoy this guy. It's called Rat Rods for Africa. And this guy is a top-notch fabricator, man. He reminds me of Brent. He's Africa's answer to Half-Ass Custom. The way he presents the video, he laughs, he chuckles all the way through it, you know, and like Brent's always laughing, and you just can't help but have a smile on your face when you watch old Brent, you know, and you just laugh along with him, and I like this. I like that. I love to see happy people. So check out this guy, Rat Rods for Africa. Check him out. He's a good guy. And tell him old Waylon sent you. Yeah, his fabrication skills are just, whew, man, they're up there. I love watching him work metal, and I love watching Brent, Half-Ass Custom, work metal. So I think that's it. I'm going to get out of here, and thanks for coming by. Go ahead and smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. By the way, subscriptions are free all this week, so don't miss out on that. It won't cost you anything. Go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you next time right here on Waylon Myers' Old Iron, and I sure do appreciate you. Whoa! 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 Whoa!